This drama triangle is the single reason why I tanked a multi-million dollar company. I almost got divorced and almost lost my kids. And if you want to get past $50,000 a month in revenue, you must not fall into this trap, okay? And before I explain to you what all this crap even is, I want you to understand this doesn't just apply to business, okay? This applies to everything in your life, okay? And once I explain this, I guarantee you'll see every relationship in your life in a completely different light. And if you master exactly what I'm about to tell you, then you will unlock more profits, you will unlock more peace in your life, and really just time, the time and space to live life on your terms. Okay, this is a very simple teaching, but if you get it, my man, you will go to the next level. Okay, so are you ready? Enough of the freaking hype. Let's go. Okay, so the drama triangle was popularized by a psychologist named Kaufman. Okay, and he claimed that in every organization, in every marriage, in every dynamic, there is a victim. Okay, I'm just going to say victim. There is a villain, and there is a hero. So, in simple terms, I want you to think of this as kind of like Spider-Man being the hero. All right, you have Mary Jane being the victim, and you have the Green Goblin as the villain. That'll be a very simplistic analogy. Now, how does this apply to business? And how does this apply to your life? Well, let's go over the business example first. Now, if you have a situation, well, I'll talk about my example, right? I ran a company that was a marketing agency, and we scaled that thing to 35 employees, multi-millions of dollars. And the CEO of the company, which was one of my business partners, he was definitely a villain, right? He was definitely blaming people for not doing their job and saying, hey, this person's crap, that person's crap, fire him, fire her. My other business partner, he was the hero. And what he did was that he would always come to the rescue and give people more time than they actually needed in the company. And he was always trying to just save and say, hey, just give it another month, or don't worry, it's okay if you need to take a sick day off. And then, ultimately the victim was me. I was the victim in all this because I felt like these guys were making a bunch of decisions and doing a bunch of stuff that was outside of my control, borrowing money that I didn't want to borrow, spending money I didn't want to spend, using profits in a way that I didn't want to use, telling me to do stuff that I didn't want to do. Like I was just a straight up victim. And it's very shameful for me to actually even admit this, but that's just where I was, okay? And what ends up happening with the villain role is that the villain blames and seeks to absolve responsibility, seeks to tell other people that they are the problem, okay? The hero tries to really, at their own expense, save other people. If you want to use a Spider-Man analogy, I think you remember the part where in one of the movies there's like a train that's derailing, and Peter Parker just as Spider-Man just freaking shoots all these webs and all these buildings, and then basically just like holds this train right from the brink of going over the edge of the platform and then killing everyone. And at the end of it, he's exhausted, he faints, and he sacrifices himself. Like he has to get hurt, he has to put himself on the line in order to save the other people. It's a either or, either they die or he gets hurt. So that's what a hero basically does. And then a victim is someone that feels like the world is against them, right? Like I felt that I just was powerless. If we use Mary Jane in this situation, right, she has no superpowers, she can't fight. Spider-Man has to save her, and the Green Goblin, the perpetrator, is the one that is hurting her, is kidnapping her and holding her against her will, and is more powerful, and so she can't do anything. It's like this belief that victims have that they are powerless in the circumstances. So what I wanted to mention over here and how this may be relevant to you is that if you are stuck at $50,000 a month or whatever revenue goal, really, it's irrelevant, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, there's a chance that you are in some version of this dynamic with someone on your team or multiple individuals on your team. I'll give you an example. Individuals that are often, and I'll just make myself bigger over here, individuals that are unable to scale a business successfully, CEOs, for example, that aren't able to scale successfully because they are the visionaries, but then they're also the operators. They are unable to scale because they are heroes, because they feel like they have to be the person that's constantly saving the day. Like, I need to be the one that's operating. Like, I can't have a manager or someone else that actually comes in and manages the team. If someone has a problem, I have to get my hands dirty and I have to be the one that solves it. If a client has an issue, I have to get on the call and I have to be the one that solves it. If there's a product that needs to be, launched or investigated or researched, whatever, right? Like, plug and play over here. I need to be the one that does it. It's the hero complex. And you can't scale heroes. Does that make sense? Like, you can't scale a hero. I'll get into in a sec what the inverse of this triangle even looks like, but I wanted to just mention that oftentimes if we're not able to grow a company, to scale a company, we're playing one of these roles. Maybe you're playing the villain, right? If you're unable to keep good talent or even attract good talent, it's likely because there's a villain in the organization. That's probably you as the owner, right? Where you are breathing down people's necks, making them feel nervous, making them feel like they can't actually get job done or work done. And then similarly with the victim, right? If you're the kind of a boss that just is so hands off and just lets the team do whatever, you don't want to ruffle any feathers, da 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 da, then yeah, you're gonna feel powerless. I'm just moving over here because the freaking sun is just brightening me up like that, and I don't want to. I want to be brown. Okay, that's what I am. I'm not this Asian, this Chinese man. Anyways, I digress. So um, what we need to recognize over here is that in a situation like this, we can flip the script. Okay, we can flip the script by moving to the inverse of the triangle. So I'm gonna move myself over here, and I'm just gonna. This is the first time I'm using this, bro. Eventually, if these videos, get some love and everything, I'll be more than happy to like buy an actual whiteboard and then like videotape myself like Nero Knowledge. I love that guy's channel. So, anyways, this is the inverse of the drama triangle, right? Instead of having the villain, we have the challenger. Oh, what is our challenger? I'll get into that in a sec. Okay, so we have the challenger on the top, and instead of having the hero, we have the coach. Okay, and instead of having the victim, and I love this one, we have the creator. Okay, so going back to what I was talking about with myself and my business partners, the transformation that unfortunately we weren't able to go through, which led to this would be a different video, the downfall of our business at the end of the day, was that in the challenger position, instead of blaming and diffusing responsibility and saying, hey, this is your fault, you suck as an employee, you're not picking up your slack, you become a loving, passionate challenger. Like in this situation, instead of going to the victim, who was me, and I didn't want to run some ads and I don't want to get in front of the camera, I felt a bit insecure, which is funny to say now because I'm creating all this content. But what a challenger would have been in that case from the CEO would have been like, hey, Hamza, I believe in you, bro. You freaking crushed it in so many of our ads. I know you can do this. You're great. All you need to do is just section a little bit of time. Don't overthink it. Press play. Just record whatever you can, and our editor will take care of the rest. Okay, I got you. I'm here for you. Let's go. That's a challenger, man. That's the kind of energy a great leader, a great CEO has, to be someone that really brings out the best in people, right? A coach in that situation would say, okay, Hamza, so you want to create this video. I know you're feeling a bit insecure about this, but what do you need to do in the morning to get prepared for this? What equipment do you need? What sort of changes do we need to make to your schedule so that you could make this happen? You see, that again is a great leader. It's someone that's able to freaking step in there and ask the right questions to empower. That's the key, to empower the person that may be having a hard time in this situation. Okay? Ask yourself, are you doing that as a leader? Right? If you aren't doing that as a leader, it doesn't matter how many sales you get, doesn't matter how many clients you close, whatever, you're not going to cross that threshold of 50K. And I, that's freaking drawing board, but you get the point, right? 50K. Why am I putting the K there? The K belongs over here. Okay, so 50K, you won't cross that threshold, and heck, you may not even be able to cross a threshold of like 10 or 20, whatever, right? Like it doesn't matter if you are engaging in the drama triangle, as I showed you previously, you're not going to cross this. But if you move into this role of coach and empower your people and you ask them the right questions, you will be able to transform. Now, here's the next thing, the creator. Okay, what does the creator do? Sometimes as business owners, we really do feel like our team is just bad, or circumstances, market circumstances, clients, recalls, whatever it may be in your industry, man, especially in the online space, right, where we experience churn, or when we experience that we're getting on sales calls and we're not actually closing deals, whatever you feel, maybe as the victim, instead what you can do to move to the creator, what you can do in fact is you start telling yourself that no, I am responsible. These are my cards to deal with. These are the cards that God gave me. And so I have the power. I can freaking do this. I'm going to make a change over here. And a big part of being a great creator is being able to accept your own vulnerability, right? Instead of being a victim, it's being able to take responsibility for your own fears, and letting your team know that, hey guys, I'm a little concerned about this thing right now, and I'm feeling a little bit like we don't really have a plan in place, and I want to get that sorted, right? That's that energy of, hey, I have the power, I can do this, we can do this, but I just may need to get a bit vulnerable over here. I may just need to be a little bit honest with the team, right? So that's if if you move into this, then I guarantee your business will grow. You will attract the right talent, you'll keep the right talent, you'll look at yourself as a different person, you'll lead in a different way, and you will squeeze more out of your people. But it starts with you. It starts with you as the leader of the organization. And I've used this to completely transform my life. I've used this to now have a very small and nimble team of 5 people. I travel around the world with my family. I do some really cool things, okay? And what I'm trying to say over here is that you can do the same. And here's the crazy thing. This applies to your life. This applies to your marriage. This applies to your relationship with your children. This applies to your relationship with your parents, your siblings. They oftentimes is the same dynamic at play. And guess what? Here's the coolest thing about all this. You can have a great marriage, a great relationship with your kids, with your parents. If you are in this situation and you just don't succumb, here's the cool thing about this. A few things. One, firstly, I'll mention this, that you don't need 3 individuals to play this, right? It can be with 2 people, right? Oftentimes in my marriage, for example, I switch between being the villain and the hero, right? There's times when my wife is just being so unreasonable, and I'm like, freaking hell, can you just look in the mirror and notice the fact that you're wrong, you're the problem, this is why your life kind of sucks right now. And I can be kind of mean, right? I can be a dick. And that doesn't help. But sometimes then I move into the rescuer, where I'm just trying to like appease her, and like solve her problems for her and make her feel better and just make life okay for her. And that doesn't help her either. I'm sacrificing myself. So, and then she plays the victim, where she feels like, oh, like this is all like I can't do anything about this, and life's happening to me. I don't know what to do, and just like all helpless and stuff, right? And sometimes she becomes actually the villain, and I feel like the victim. So what I'm trying to say over here is that if you're ever in this dynamic with your woman, or with a business partner, with an employee, with a parent, with a sibling, you just have to refuse to play the role that you are inclined to playing. I'll say that again. All you have to do is refuse to play the role that you are inclined to playing, right? So, for example, if you are inclined to being a villain, then instead of you actually blaming your partner for all the problems that are in the business or in your guys' relationship, your marriage, you then encourage, like, hey babe, like, I know we can do this, I know we can be a great team, I know we can grow this business, or whatever you want to say in the lines of being that challenger. And just refuse to be a villain, and be more of someone that brings out the best in her or him, whoever you're with, right? In that situation, in that dynamic, if you're feeling like a victim, just be honest, like, hey, I feel sad when you tell me that I'm a bad parent, or I feel worried when you say to me that clients are calling you and saying that they're going to cancel. I feel worried because my story is that we aren't doing a good job. And I don't know. I have no way of quantifying if we are doing a good job or not. So what I need from you is to help me understand that. You see how different that communication is? If someone's coming at you, attacking you, blaming you and stuff, and you just get vulnerable, you're like, hey, I feel sad when you're saying these things to me, and what I just need is a little bit of support from you. It just diffuses it completely. And instead of trying to like just soothe your employees and just, oh, it's okay, and don't ruffle feathers, instead ask them clarifying questions. How do you feel about this? Why is this important to you? Especially if someone's being a victim, like, oh, this freaking client, they hung up the phone on me. Or if a salesperson is saying, oh, the day's just been so difficult, I just haven't been getting good leads, and the ads aren't working, and I have to do all this cold calling and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. So, who is it that you want to be in the future, right? What version of yourself do you want to be, and how could this process of having a cold call allow you to become that individual? What do you think about that? Like just being that coach and asking those questions, and instead of them feeling like a victim, they'll be more empowered then to step into like, oh, well, I'll have to do this and be more action oriented. Do you see right now how this drama triangle is literally so it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere, man. Like it's in politics as well. Like the left plays victim all the time, and the right oftentimes plays the villain, right? Like they're always villainizing and guys, like what you want to get out of this is you want to move to the middle of the circle and you just want to flip the triangle on its head. I was actually supposed to draw this the other way around, because the original triangle is this way, and then the other triangle is like this, and then we all just become a bunch of Jews, and yeah, we eat some some shawarma together and falafels, and we go to Tel Aviv and smoke some shisha, and yeah, that's what we become. I'm just kidding, guys. This is not about Judaism, Israel, Free Palestine, none of that. This is all about you recognizing that you have a role to play in your organization, you have a role to play in your marriage, you have a role to play as a parent, and the more you keep blaming people or feeling like you're powerless or trying to solve everyone's problems for them, the longer you're going to be stuck at that revenue, the longer you're going to be stuck in a situation where you're in a marriage that you don't like, and the longer you're just not going to freaking be happy. Okay, so if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. If you had a realization around how you may be playing out a drama triangle, please drop a comment. I'd love to know in how way, shape, or form you may be playing this out in your business or in your life. And yeah, guys, let me know what else you want to see. What other videos can we make?